Would you ever release 2 CDs at once again like that?
Never again. Never.
Why is that?
It was the hardest process to ever go through, like mixing and that kind of stuff. When you have to listen to your record over and 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 over, when mixing it to get all the levels right, especially with samples because you have to tweak every one. When you have to listen to a 78-minute reference, that's like an hour and 20 minutes of your daily life every day, or sometimes 3 times a day, listening to the record to find, and then you find one little thing, you're like, crap, we gotta fix it. And then you hear something else, so never again. We'll make another 30-minute record, so it'll be easy. So.
Do you think the current lineup of the band will be a permanent one?
Yeah, definitely. I think so. I mean, we've had little inner turmoils and some member problems, but the core of the lineup has remained the same. We got rid of a guitar player due to some personal issues, but I think the core of the lineup is going to be pretty solid because, like on stage, we gel really well. So.
Is it difficult for those guys to write music for 2 bands?
No, we didn't have any problems. I mean, timing-wise, yes. As far as stylistically, no. Like, it's a matter of just timing. Like I said, the Demonstration had their record, and again, the signing to Century Media Scare, they had that deadline. They had that crunch where they had to get their stuff done. So Killwhitneydead kind of just went on the back burner because we had just released 2 brand new albums. So we don't need a new record, even though fans are screaming for one already. I'm like, you've got 24 songs, go enjoy them. So it's never enough. No, it's okay.
You just had a song featured in the movie Z13, The Zombie Within.
Yes.
How did that come about?
A guy named Blake Fawcett, he did our DVD, and he's done a bunch of our live videos, and he had put a Sock in a music video. And in Greensboro, there's a company called All Aces Media, which is he and like 3 other guys, and they make independent movies. And they had this zombie movie, and they wanted to feature our song in it, and he said that the director, or the guy who was producing it, wanted a video, so they took us back to the warehouse where they shot the movie, and we just set up and shot a video. I think we shot it in like 3 hours. We ran lights and stuff off of our cigarette lighter. We ran power because there's no power in the warehouse, but it was pretty awesome. Blake's a great fan and made a cool video for us.
You mentioned the DVD. Did you like finally getting out the truth about the band, or were you wary of taking away the mystery?
No, I was kind of happy to get it off my back because when I started the stories, I never thought it would get to the level that it did. So creating those stories was fun in the beginning, but then trying to have to recall what I said 3 years prior, and you don't, when people start to find out, it's really kind of hard to lie to their face when they kind of know, but they don't. And I never did it to be truly deceptive. It was just kind of something that happened, and I was definitely happy to get it out and explain why I did it, because so many kids didn't know why, but I just finally got it all out in one big. That's the purpose of the DVD, was just to get everything from the point where the DVD made before out, so people knew what was going on, and then we could move forward from there. So.
Any plans for another DVD?
We were working on one. Blake has we film all kinds of shows. Of course, none like with the quality of like all the stuff that comes out on DVD now. We just kind of like, guerrilla style, just shoot 1 or 2 camera angles because that's just the way we prefer them to be shot. There's discussions of it, but we haven't really gone through much of the footage. So we'll see. I'd like to do one, but it's quite time consuming to get something out. But there's always discussions for one.
Have you ever considered doing songs without the samples under a different moniker or anything?
We actually have discussed, Rob, the new guitar player, and I, when we get home, we're going to do a different band. But honestly, it's really hard for me to not use samples. To not use samples. I have to use samples. We just did a cover version, myself and some guys in Jonan did a cover version of Vote with a Bullet, and it didn't have samples in it, and I had one intro sample set up to use, and then if you listen to it, which you can download it on our MySpace page, the whole song has samples through it. Like, it's just impossible for me not to mess with something. I have to do it, so.
Is there anything finalized regarding the KWD on vinyl?
Nothing yet. We're waiting for our underlord, Jamie King, to actually remix the first 3 albums. Once the audio is remixed, then we'll put them on vinyl. Because other than just having them on vinyl, I want to do something something a little different for it. I want to have, remix that audio, because those records are kind of old and recorded on basically a shoestring budget, because we didn't really have too much of a following at the time, so we just kind of spent minimal money on it and just did it. Whereas some bands will spend $15,000, $20,000 on a record. We spent like $1,000 on our record. So it's kind of like getting a second chance of putting them out on vinyl so all the kids can have a big artwork and things like that. So,
you ever consider re-recording any of the older stuff?
Jamie wants to re-record the record, and I would love to redo the vocals on the first record, considering I think they're really, really bad. But that's just my take, because I'm a little more experienced now than I was then. But if we do it when we do the vinyl, we'll probably offer the record, the original record remix on one side, and if we re-record it, we'll offer an additional version. Because there's some diehards out there who absolutely love the first one. I don't want to take that away from them. So,
how do you respond to the criticism regarding your lyrics?
Fuck them. No, I don't really pay attention to it. I mean, we have so many girls at our shows, and so many like people that that could be offended by what I say, but they truly love it. And if people are that wrapped up in it, then they just need to relax, because there's always people that take things too far when they read lyrics. I've met plenty of our fans that do, but I'm just like any horror story, or like Stephen King, or like Clive. Anyway,
Clive Barker?
Yes, Clive Barker. I'm anybody like that writes. I write horror stories, and mine just happen to be set to music rather than to, actors and on film. So if people take it too seriously, then they need to talk to Stephen King and all that kind of stuff.
You have some violent lyrics, obviously, but how do you feel about violence at shows?
I hate it. I absolutely hate it, and I say that on stage. I say it all the time, because it really is just hurting the scene. Like, I know a lot of bands promote it and think that it's awesome to see people get hurt at shows, but those are people that won't come to shows anymore. And then the more you weed out, the less record sales you have, and then the more clubs get shut down, and the less places to play, and then eventually the scene will crumble. And so people think because it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and more record sales, that clubs will tolerate it, but clubs won't tolerate violence, and they won't, because it's insurance, it's lawsuits. We played a show in Virginia Beach, and apparently some girl I don't know if she was paralyzed. We didn't even get to play because a fight broke out during one of the other bands, and like kids got hurt, security guards got hurt. It's just stupid. It's just pointless. I'm a lot older than a lot of these kids, so I have less tolerance for it, because I've seen what it can do. It's stupid.
Some of your newer lyrics are more sexual. Was that a conscious effort?
Oh yeah, definitely. You can only write so many songs about decapitating women or killing somebody you don't like. So I just decided to take Killwhitneydead in a different angle, and for me, it kind of keeps the spark alive, because it allows me to write different stuff and experiment and see where I can take my lyrics, and if I can fit those types of themes into Killwhitneydead songs, and then challenge me once again to find samples that correlate to that. It keeps everything fresh for me. I don't really do it for the fans. If the fans dig it, that's awesome, but it's more to keep it fresh for me. So, 5 albums in, it's kind of just like, all right, what can I do different? So,
You clearly enjoy movies. What are some of your favorites?
Some of my favorite movies. I love Tommy Boy. I love Alien, Halloween, Strange Brew. I don't know. I just like all kinds of movies. But those are some of my favorites. Halloween and Alien and Strange Brew is one of the funniest movies ever made. And then, as of recent movies, I can't stop watching Hot Rod. I think that's one of the funniest movies in the last 5 years. It's great. So.
Do you have any closing remarks for the readers of Metal Monarchy?
Not really. Just thank you very much for the support. If you haven't checked us out, please do. And if you have, again, we thank everybody for spreading the word about the band. Because if their friends don't tell other friends about us, then we wouldn't be where we are now. So we're just very grateful that people talk about us. So, good or bad, you can tell everybody how much you hate us too. That'll work as well. Because then they'll definitely check us out.
Run your mouth and talk your shit. We all know you are